Welcome to the Big Circle with your host,
Derrick Followell.
and I'm Ivy Heron Jr. And we got a special guest today. Austin Hayes, you got something to say back there?
Yeah, you got it right this time.
All right, good deal. I got it right. But we got a special guest, Mr.
Teddy Sharp.
Teddy.
Oh, Teddy Sharp.
Glad
We're
to have
excited
you
you're
here.
here, man.
Glad to be here.
All right. So we've been on our before and after series, man. I've been enjoying the heck out of this. Been getting a lot of good feedback about it, and we wanted to continue to do that, and we wanted to do that with Teddy. We're excited about this story, what it's going to sound like. If y'all notice a bowl of chicken here, Ivy come in, he got up from his nap, and he didn't have time to eat his chicken. So he might.
Did that make you feel better getting that out? I didn't know.
No.
I didn't know if that amplified the podcast or what. Okay, good.
Is he hold on, calm
I just
down.
want to be friends.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
whoops, my coffee.
I just
so
wanted
sorry.
to tell you, if Teddy
Third-degree
gets to
burn.
talking and he has him a nugget, don't think anything about it.
Plenty of nuggets. Derrick. We always say
At least he
he's
got
a
a
pastor.
nap in.
Yeah. He's a pastor, but he's a smart aleck person. I'll catch him every
Lord.
time because I've been hanging out with the best.
Oh, here we go. Hey, we always start the first 2 minutes as wacky. So
That's all right.
Take
We
it
can be a
on,
little
Joe.
wacky.
we're over it now. But anyway,
I'm
we're
not.
we'll get over it in a minute. He said, we're excited that you're here, Teddy. And basically, so what we've been doing is we want to dig into the before. What does before look like? Then we want to talk about after. So there's not a starting point. I want to hear the ugly. I want to hear about addiction. I want to hear about conviction.
Yeah.
I want to hear about recovery. I want to hear about all of it. So
I think it's
us
pretty
off.
cool too, though, to start off, man. So we're about to talk about the before and then the after too. We got a man that stands before you here. 3 different businesses going on, got all this stuff. So keep that in mind when going through this before. I think it's really cool.
absolutely,
Right.
absolutely.
Well, I was born and raised in Jonesboro and had a fairly good life growing up. My grandpa was pretty much my dad. I didn't have a dad, so
Right. Why is
And-
that?
well, he just wasn't in the picture.
He just wasn't around.
Didn't even know him. Haven't ever met him, so
Still haven't never met him.
he, as far as I know, he passed away. So anyhow,
Did you ever deal with that
nah,
mentally, or you just grandpa was dad and you were good?
Grandpa was dad and I was good.
Okay.
So
Okay.
pretty much just started to learn to work at a young age. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
because grandpa gonna put you to work.
he did put me to work. If it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't know what I know now. You know what I mean?
What kind of work?
A hauling business and excavation and dozers and just
Kind of
heavy
what you do
equipment.
now.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So he's working on all that equipment. He knows how to do that. You're working on that with him. You're
Yep.
gaining that knowledge.
Yep.
Okay.
I
And
was
that
what-
started at what age?
When I was born,
Okay.
pretty much. I
Yeah.
mean, whenever I was born, he pretty much took me with him everywhere he went.
Okay.
He was my dad.
Yeah.
My mom worked 2 full-time jobs, so
Right.
she never was around.
Right.
But
So
I
from the
mean,
beginning, you knew what hard work was.
absolutely, yeah.
Growing up in it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I growed up in it, and my mom was a good woman. She just worked to provide for me, and I mean, I was the only child, so.
Right.
Amen. I second that.
But it was a good life, and I just
So you were an only child.
only
You went
child.
from a house with only children, with the only child, to a whole house full of kids.
Yeah, 7 kids, 7 kids and a crazy wife.
Shout out to Brittany Sharp.
Yeah.
That's right.
But,
Yes.
what he's saying is he loves her very much.
Absolutely.
Just to cover
And when
that.
they heard Brittany Sharp, they're like, "Oh yeah, she is crazy." But she's our crazy.
She's kept me in line, I promise you. But no, I pretty much stayed with him most of my early childhood.
So he's raising you. You're going to school. You're doing good. You're learning knowledge about the business. What kind of student were you? Were you good at school?
Yeah, I wasn't a straight A student, but on up into my
What about behavior?
yeah, I
Okay.
was good.
Okay.
I mean, up until about 7th, 8th grade, I started getting in trouble a little bit.
Okay.
Just doing some dumb stuff. You know how it is when you're young.
Yeah.
But it was pretty all right, I guess.
Right. So when did when did you struggle or the wheels start going off the bus? What happened?
Well, I pretty much was with my grandpa up until I was about probably 13, 14 years old. Started smoking a little pot.
Okay.
Started doing that. I smoked probably my first joint whenever I'm going to say 13 years old. I tried it for the first time. That was,
And when you tried it?
liked it. I mean,
Yeah.
But I mean, I really don't know what else to say about that other than I just continued to do it for.
Was there any trigger that started that made you want to smoke? Because I know for me, I didn't take my first drink of like alcohol till I was 17. I went from a Christian school to a public school, and I was just kind of overwhelmed. And man, I just thought it was thrilling. You know, I mean,
Right.
that was kind of what mine was. And
It
I
was-
was like, there wasn't anything necessarily I was trying to. Well, I mean, there was a few things I was trying to hide from. You know, whether it was, when I first came, I was 110 pounds to a public school, and then. Well, I
Right.
wasn't big enough. I wasn't strong enough. I had bleach blonde hair. So I was like, man, how do I hide all this while I work out? I'm going to start being cool. I'm going to start drinking, stuff like
Right.
that. What was yours?
That was kind of the same scenario. Was it was the cool thing to do at the time? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had a friend that lived down the road from Grandpa's shop. That I mean, we was best friends. He's married into the family now, and a good guy. And we used to smoke grass. I mean, and then it just eventually turned to pot. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it was, but my mom, I can remember she smoked a little bit through my younger ages too.
Right. I think, even when I was hearing Ivy talk about his childhood, I think even that we're trying to figure ourselves out. We've got issues. We don't even know what issues we have.
Right.
We don't know how to deal with them. It's like, hey, I'm just trying to be cool. But the truth is, we're
was a
usually, we're masking something. There's
Yeah.
something going on that we don't know how to process, trying to figure out who we are.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be.
Well, and the hardest thing is getting that out because
Right.
I started kind of reminiscing when I was talking, saying, well, there wasn't really a root. And then I started thinking back just a little bit more, and there was a lot of different roots.
Yeah.
I think a
So-
lot of mine was trying to fit in with
Yeah.
folks. You know what I mean?
People pleasing.
Yeah,
And I
pretty
think we're all
much. I
guilty
mean,
of
peer
that.
pressure, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But choices. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's the choices I made then.
Yeah. So how did that? So you go from, hey, I'm smoking a little grass, to what happens now?
Well, I mean, went from that to didn't hang out with my grandpa anymore. We butted heads
Why did you and your grandpa butt heads?
because I was just young and dumb and I didn't want to be told what to do or anything like that. And
You'd already
he
reached that
always tried to
mentality.
teach me the right way. You know what I'm saying? And he was hard on me. I mean, he really was. A lot of people didn't think he was, but he was hard on me. He wanted
Tough
me-
love.
Yes. Yes. And
Love, but tough love.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And didn't hang out with him anymore. And I just started spiraling then. So
So when you leave hanging out with your grandpa, who are you hanging out with now?
friends, no, friends at the time. You know what I mean? So
Those friends at the time, are they still your friends now?
nope.
Yeah.
One.
Ain't that crazy how that happened?
The whole circle changes.
Yeah, one. I mean, one's family, and
Yeah.
he's straight and narrow, and
Yeah.
I'm doing good. So, and he was the one
Yeah.
that I tried it with the first time.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
There's
So,
usually like one that makes it out. All the rest of them are just.
and I mean, at 16, I got my license, and I was pretty much living the fast life. I mean,
So one thing, Zach, I don't know if you guys had watched the other podcast, but Zach Bland was on here.
Yeah.
And if you remember what he said that license was like his ticket.
The trigger.
that was it.
I think kids are different nowadays because that license was such a sense of entitlement. I couldn't wait to get mine, and I was going to drive.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, you have to beat the kids out of the house to go get in the vehicle. Like they don't really care
Yeah.
as much about driving and things like that. But that was freedom to me.
It was
So
absolutely
that
yes.
freedom got you to go wherever you wanted to go.
Yeah, and I mean, my mom, she didn't care what I did.
Right.
But she was, and I'm not saying she wasn't a good person. She was very loving to me.
Yeah.
But
Right.
she worked 2 jobs to support us. I mean, that's
It's hard to keep up.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. She didn't have time to. If it wasn't for my grandma and grandpa at the time, I mean, she didn't have time to look after me because she was trying to provide a life. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
So you get those license. Here you go.
Yeah.
What's life looking like now?
Started driving. I mean, first year or so, I done pretty good. I was just smoking a little pot, and probably about the second year, I tried meth for the first time.
So tell me how that happened.
And what
Give
age?
me that.
Well,
You're talking about smoking pot, bro.
That'd be like me grabbing the chicken.
Well, you ain't ate the first piece of chicken since we've been here.
I'm waiting.
Hey, I'll eat you a piece of chicken.
Dude, don't yell at me. Let's all be
So anyway,
created a monster.
Well,
how did meth happen?
I mean,
And I don't want to hurt you or relationships
No.
or anything like that, and I don't want to make you uncomfortable. But
no, sir. I mean, my Uncle Rodney and my wife can vouch for this. We've known each other for years.
Right.
Her daddy and my uncle was really good friends. We always went to the hills together, went deer hunting. And my Uncle Rodney, I mean, he pretty much cooked meth and done it and sold it and all that. And I've watched that throughout my young childhood.
Yeah, and I remember hearing stories back in the day because former addict, whether it be meth, coke, pills, that was me too. But I remember them talking about meth back in the day, and it was almost not more normalized, but in a way, like if you had people around it, it was almost normalized. Does that make sense? Like,
it just became part of.
And then
it wasn't abnormal.
Yeah, and then, but it was just more hidden then, and then as time goes on, the meth changes.
Yeah.
I remember people used to talk about hitting a line of dope, and they'd be up and they're doing what they need to, and now it just makes you weird nowadays.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So, I mean, that was...
Back then, when I first started doing it, my uncle, he didn't agree with me doing it, and he done it. You know what I mean? He was...
Because most people that are, you're wise enough to know you don't want somebody else to
and
go
he
down.
he was another one that was a father figure in my life,
Right.
as well
So
as
that
my
was
wife's
probably
dad. Yes.
damaging as well.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go to commercial. We'll pick up where we left off. Thank you to all of our sponsors, and we'll be right back with you with our guest, Teddy Sharp.
Heron Tire, best from the east to the west, serving Paragould and all of northeast Arkansas for over 56 years. Tire shops have come and gone. Heron Tire has remained. We keep getting bigger and better. Got a flat? You don't have time for that. We'll get it patched up and put you back on the road. Stuck on the farm? No time to play? Call us. We're on the way. If you need to get the crops planted and you're feeling stressed, call Heron Tire. We're simply the best. New tires? We got you. Used tires? We got you. Rims, lift kits, oil change? You guessed it. We got it. So come see us at either of our Paragould locations at 700 East Kings Highway or 300 Airport Road. Heron Tire Service, 870-239-8466 or 870-240-0090. Yes, best from the east to the west. J&M Trailer Sales and Service. J&M Trailer Sales and Service. Huge selection of trailers, trailer repair, and prices so low, it's stupid. Also, if you don't want to commit to buying a trailer or a piece of equipment, they rent it out as well. Trailers, car haulers, skid steer, excavators. J&M Trailer Sales, located at 2510 South 2nd Avenue, Paragould, Arkansas. Leisure Comfort. At Leisure Comfort Heat and Air, we provide friendly heating and air conditioning repairs done right. We repair all major brands and give reliable options to get your system working properly. In the unfortunate event that a new equipment is necessary, we can make the installation seamless and easy. We install all major brands with free estimates and flexible financing options. Upgrading your HVAC system has never been easier. Whether you're looking for HVAC system, repairs, seasonal maintenance, new equipment, or general construction needs, our trained technicians will get you on the best path to enjoying a comfortable home environment. Welcome back to the Big Circle. Thank you to all of our sponsors, and we're back with Mr. Teddy Sharp. And
so we're kind of picking up where we left off.
Yeah.
So we were talking about you're around some family that's like cooking, selling, participating in dope. You were talking a little bit about that addiction, And I mean, I think different. I was thinking, I wanted to ask this question. You weren't around the process of that as much as he was. You were just getting it, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, it's just two different ends of the spectrums. It doesn't mean someone is more or less messed
Right.
up.
Yeah.
So, did you get in
Oh,
the
no.
process of learning how to do?
No,
Okay.
and I wasn't really in the process of the cooking it.
Just
I just watched him do
Yeah.
it and sell it.
yeah, okay.
But I knew that he did do it.
Yeah,
Do the cooking and stuff like that.
So
And
you
And
try
what-
meth when you're
Yeah, well, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
What age did you start witnessing all of this take place? Him cooking, him going on. I mean, what?
probably 14.
Okay, so 14 years old. I mean,
Yeah,
full-
when we started going to the hills.
yeah,
really
an
hard,
adult
heavy.
an adult mind doesn't actually fully develop to like the age of 28. So can you imagine halfway
Right.
through that you're seeing that and you
think mine
think
was like
this
35.
is you're still a work in progress. You're 49. So
Yeah, I mean, it was. I never did witness that part of it, but I mean whenever I first started doing meth, I can remember it done something to me.
it was an instant hook, wasn't it?
It
almost?
was. It was an instant addiction.
so I've never done it. So, but I've heard people describe it.
Have you done Adderall?
Never.
Never taken Adderall.
See, I'm 49 years old, so I kind of missed that generation of.
Yeah.
I mean, mine was weed and booze.
Well,
You
don't
know.
get anybody that's listening to this, don't get this twisted. If you're on ADD medicine, I'm not saying anything about it
Yeah.
like that. But when you take Adderall, meth is identically the same thing. I mean, except you lose a little bit more sleep, which makes you a little bit more
Right.
crazier.
Yeah.
And if you don't need it, it will do
It
you
will.
the
So
same
it's
way.
the abuse of it that
Yeah, I
really
mean,
runs into the.
and, you
it's
know-
like anything else. Any medicine you get, if you don't need it, you're taking it, you're overtaking it.
Yeah.
It's going to do something to you that's not what it is intended to do.
Correct. And
Yeah.
and the bad thing between the different, between Adderall and meth is, man, I preferred Adderall. If I couldn't find Adderall, I was
Right.
there was that sack of meth, and it
Yeah.
was pretty much the same thing as long as I didn't overdo it,
Yeah.
so to say. But
So you start this, and when you start, you like the feeling. It made you feel.
Made me feel, I guess, what you call invincible.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
know,
what I always heard.
And a
Yeah.
lot of
Superman.
people really laugh at that, but that is the truth. I
Yeah.
mean, when you get that first taste of it, it's like
you're
a
up.
whole different life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Invincible, untouchable.
Yes.
I'm getting
Do
everything done on
anything
my
you want
checklist.
to. Nobody knows what's going on. I mean, it's
Well, and the thing is, I think for the first 2 weeks or so, they really don't until you're just all
and
wild
I
after.
mean, and to be honest with you, I could mask it pretty good.
Yeah.
Right.
I could.
So how did you mask it?
Man, a lot of people when you do meth, you don't eat stuff like that. I always ate.
Yeah, I've heard people.
Me-
I heard
yeah,
a-
me- yeah,
one
I
of the
did
white
too.
girls told me the other
Yeah.
day. She was like, one of the rules we had when we were out in meth to keep people from knowing. She said, just chew, swallow, chew, swallow.
Yeah.
She said
Yeah.
you wouldn't be hungry.
Well, I was still hungry. It was
Yeah,
all
that's
I was
great.
eating I was eating home cooked
But
meals.
she
I
said
mean,
if she
Yeah.
knew if she kept eating,
It wouldn't.
they wouldn't know.
Yeah,
No.
Your
Right.
face and stuff
Yeah.
wouldn't sink.
and I can honestly say I don't think my grandpa actually knew
Yeah.
up until probably in my early 20s.
Yeah.
So you're still kind of in and out of a relationship with your grandpa. You're using meth. You're smoking weed.
Yeah.
What else?
That was pretty much my two.
That was your
my
two.
two go-tos. I mean, never really did even try anything else.
And what avenues did that lead you down? And how did you crash? What happened? When was there? What?
When was your wake up? I guess maybe like a wake up call, but
Well,
maybe I had plenty of them. I just didn't take them.
I can tell you from the time I was 16, I was born and raised in Jonesboro, and
Right.
I mean by the time I was 18 years old, I got kicked out of Jonesboro for just doing dumb stuff. I mean, I've terrorized the neighborhood, just hot rodding and
Yeah.
doing dope, and didn't care what the law thought. I mean, that's it. That was me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't a very pleasant person. You know what I mean?
So what's your demeanor at this time? Are you just angry? Are you just I don't care?
I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, and I wasn't messed with.
Yeah.
I mean, I was bullied a little bit in school, but it wasn't a whole lot.
So,
but it was in my younger years.
Let's revert back to that. because I understand that feeling. So we completely rewind the clock a little bit.
Yeah.
And you saying that reminds me a little bit about my story, coming from a sheltered school to a wide open school, and I remember the ridicule my first year, and I thought to myself, I never want to let this happen again.
Yeah.
And I had a tool, I had a ticket, and whether that was anabolics, meth, whatever, I knew if I put on that crazy demeanor, even at the time though, I mean, I was really crazy, but like, hey, ain't no one gonna mess with me anymore.
Yeah.
I remember that, just like it was yesterday.
Absolutely.
I
was always the good guy until somebody aggravated me or made me mad.
And it's funny, once we get out of that spiral of addiction, what people say about us now don't even match up with their past, and you're like, I don't even, I'll get a brief reminder every once in a while, like, man, talking about my past and stuff. It's like, man, I remember a guy like that, but he's so far long gone and dead that I just get a glimpse of him every once in a while. It's happy to reminisce about that, because I never have to be that again, because now I know who I truly am. Not that I'm saying I don't have mess ups with anger or bitterness or resentment, but I know how I don't handle it anymore. I don't handle it anymore.
We're still human.
You don't stop being human, man. It's part of life.
I guess by the time I was 18, I got kicked out of Jonesboro. They told me if I wanted to stay anywhere out of jail or anywhere, I better get out of there.
So how are you feeding the addiction? How are you providing for yourself? Are you going to school at this point? What?
I was going to school. I was working for Meadows Construction at the time. I was sweeping shops. I was making a paycheck at 14 years old.
Right.
And I mean, that's when I started. And I would just.
So how are you doing that and in school?
In the afternoons. All afternoon, every day. And.
So did you graduate?
Nope.
When did you quit?
I quit in my 11th grade year. I blew out a knee. I had a three-wheeler wreck and blew out my knee. And I used it as an excuse, I guess, because we had a two-story, Jonesboro High School was a two-story school. So I couldn't go up and down stairs or anything like that. And I just pretty much, I missed a couple of weeks of school, and they was just going to make me take the 11th grade all over again, and I just quit.
Yeah. You said, I'm not doing it.
I said, I'm not doing it. And that's when I quit, and from there on, I got a full-time job. I worked for Meadows Construction for, I don't know, a couple of years.
Right.
And
so when you had your knee injury, were you introduced to like pain medication and all that?
Yes.
How did you survive that?
The pain medication, I mean, that wasn't nothing to me.
Yeah.
I could take it and I could just quit it.
Yeah.
But I was still doing the meth and stuff like that.
Ain't it so funny how so many people have such a different
yeah.
Because pain medicine for me, if on top of whether it be meth or Adderall or whatever, man, that was just an extra bump for me. Yeah. So you have there's different triggers. There's different, I don't know, just people have a different cocktail, I guess.
That's right. That's absolutely
because you said
right.
you could just, that'd be like me quitting anxiety medicine or anything like that. I could just quit that. That wasn't a problem. But anything painkiller related, speed related.
Yeah.
Right.
No. And I want to say this too, and to our listeners. Basically, this conversation is not war stories.
Yeah.
This conversation is trying to get the stigma off the fact that we can talk about this.
Right.
That cocktail and what triggers were for somebody, what someone liked versus what somebody liked. There's somebody out there listening that is going through that same thing right now.
Yeah. Learning to rebuild your life.
Yeah.
Being in a spot of employment, management, owning your own business. Hey, we're just telling you it's okay to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
You got to speak this. You got to speak it out because you actually become empowered by doing so.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
And I remember being crippled by the fact if I didn't really want to say what was wrong with me or what was going on.
Right.
Man, I don't want to live my life like that.
No.
Man, I just want to be an open book. That's what we should be. So I just want to remind our viewers that obviously that we're not glorifying any of this stuff. It's just part of life and your journey of the before and where you were. So we're going to take another quick commercial break. Thanks to all of our sponsors. We'll be right back with our guests, Teddy Sharp and Ivy.
Quality Voices. Quality Voices is hiring now for a daytime and nighttime shift. They are a faith-based company that works on behalf of political endeavors and nonprofit organizations. You can fill out an application at 1413 Marketplace, Suites E and F. They have great management, great family, great atmosphere, and a great environment. Quality voices, Jonesboro, Arkansas. Sharp Custom Hauling. They serve all of Northeast Arkansas and haul a variety of materials, chat, gravel, fill, sand, dirt, and much, much more. Need your land cleared? Parking lot, building pad, dirt work, driveways, and bush hogging. We offer free estimates and competitive pricing and financing available as well. Sharp Custom Hauling. We can get her done. Sharp Farms. Sharp Farms, family owned and locally grown beef. From our pasture to your table. We heard you need beef. We have what you're looking for. Whole, half, or quarter cow. If that's more than you need, let us help you build a custom meat box that fits your budget. Call or email us for more information at sharpfarms2022@gmail.com or call Miss B at 870-219-3497. Introducing the Sunroom. The house can get crowded, and if you need somewhere for family or friends to stay during the holidays, the Sunroom is a pet-friendly rental in Paragould, Arkansas, with a top-rated Airbnb Superhost rating. Beautiful scenery overlooking a nice pond, peaceful, relaxing, and much better than a hotel. Welcome back to the Big Circle.
Yes, so we're picking up where we left off. So you're going through all this. You're going through all your dilemmas. You decide you're quitting school. The pain medicine wasn't a deal. We talked about all of that.
Yeah.
It's back to your same two circles, meth and weed. That's what's keeping me going.
Yeah.
You're making a paycheck to, I guess, feed the habit.
Yeah, pretty much.
What's your living situation look like?
Well, I mean, at 18 years old, I got kicked out of Jonesboro. I moved to Leachville and Monette. I actually lived in Monette. I started working on the farm there, and that's where my farming career started, I guess. So,
right.
And
you started working on a farm because that was just what was around.
That's what was there. That's what Leachville, Monette, and Manila. That is farming country. So that's where I started at, and I started working for Wallace Farms, and I just make my paycheck, go buy my dope, my weed.
Never really put anything back, just bought
Work
everything.
14, 15, 16 hours a day.
Just to feed it.
Just to feed it. I mean,
So you're not acquiring any property. You don't own anything.
no, don't own anything but the clothes on my back and my vehicle, and that was about it. I was actually still living with my mama.
So you were working for your addiction.
Yeah.
Wow. How many people fall in that category today?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I see people all the time, and you can tell. You know, even after sitting down and talking to them, you hear the pain in their voice because they're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, you get in that mindset. I don't want anything. I ain't gonna have anything. It's my lot in life.
Right.
So how long does that last?
Well, I mean, that lasted for a long time. I mean, it lasted for 10 plus years. From 18 on up to about 20, 22. I was in it pretty heavy, and I got with my ex-wife that I had at the time, and we had kids. And
You had kids in your addiction?
yes,
Man.
yes, and at that time the meth wasn't really a big thing, but it was still there.
Yeah.
The pot was.
Was she addicted during all of this?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, and I mean, I got in trouble. I'd worked for another farmer at Manila, and I got accused of stealing 60-cent candy bars out of the parts store at Manila. And the farmer that I was working for at the time fired me over that, and I was messed up. I mean, I was still doing a little meth and smoking my pot, you know, and so I just took it up on myself. I mean, we had my oldest son at this time. This is around 2006, 2007, right at 2007.
Right.
And I just went and stole all their radiators off their power units. So I got in a lot of trouble for that.
So you were falsely accused. So you're thinking, I'm going to show
Forget
them.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
I remember that feeling like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
I remember media coverage of me, and I thought to myself, well, everybody thinks I'm a bad guy, so be it. I'm going to be the best one there is. Yeah,
Never
I
stole
remember
nothing
that.
in my life. And
Yep.
And what's bad about it is I knew the guy that was stealing the candy bars. He was throwing washers for boats in the change bucket. I'd see him every time he done it. You know what I mean? And they accused me of stealing them candy bars. I was a chubby guy. I get it.
They always accuse the fat
Accused the fat guy. You know what I mean? But
hey, Brother Teddy, I know you're playing.
hey,
I
it's
go to
all
somebody's
good.
house, they're like, you want a cookie? I'm like, does it look like I run around and eating
Right.
cookies all the time?
And I mean, at that time, I was.
Calm the beast, give him a cookie. Don't eat us.
Oh Lord.
That's a chicken.
No.
It's all right. Everybody's chicken. I brought it.
Now we know why he brought the chicken.
God.
He found out me and you.
He
was
knew we
able
was
to get
chubby
eat.
guys, didn't he? Oh man, I see how it is. Ivy.
To all you overweight people, no pun intended, the struggle is real.
Hey, I'm proud to be a
Don't
fat
leave
guy.
him hanging.
If I gotta go get your candy bar, I will.
Hey, he ate a piece
Hey, I
of
had
chicken.
one. I had one a while ago. It's gone.
Oh man, that's funny.
No, it's
So the kids are born during all of this.
one kid was born.
One kid was born. during the-
Trevor was born in 2007. That is right at the time. Jennifer, my wife at the time, was pregnant with him when I stole these radiators.
Wow.
But
So are you in a father mindset at that time at all?
No.
Or are you just
no,
yeah.
I mean, I didn't even through my younger age on up to that. I didn't even have a girlfriend. I didn't. That was
Didn't
the
even care.
Farthest thing from my mind. You know what I
Just
mean?
wanted your drugs.
Pretty much, yes. And
Yeah.
I went and stole the radiators, and I can remember the cops coming to the house, and they looked at my boots. They knew who it was whenever they come up there. I wasn't trying to hide it. So they called me down to the place at Monette where I done my interview, and they asked me. They said, "Well, did you do this and this?" I said, "Yeah, I sure did." Well, they said, "If you tell me the truth, then it won't be as bad, you know." I said, "I'm gonna tell you the truth." I said, "I did it." Said they accused me of stealing, so I stole the radiators.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was just like this, you know what I mean?
The heck with their candy bars.
Yeah,
I got
I said
radiators.
the candy bars wasn't even nothing. I'd say, but anyhow, I
funny.
stole the radiators and wound up with 2 felonies, and one in Craighead County, one in Mississippi County. And pretty
So
much.
the person you stole the radiators from, they knew it was you?
No, they didn't till the cops came.
Okay.
They didn't know who it was. I thought it was funny. Really wasn't. I mean, it really wasn't funny. I was in the wrong mindset. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't care.
I laugh because I remember how twisted my mind was too.
Right.
Like those things, you're like, oh man, this is gonna be good. And when they come, I'll be smiling. And it's like, bro,
Well-
I mean, now you look back and you're like, oh my.
Oh, I
gosh,
can tell you. I mean, you're talking. I got 5-6 years probation in each county, and $14,000 in restitution.
Well, here's the funny thing, and we'll end with this, and then we'll do the middle, we'll do the before, middle, and then the after. But I was listening to you talk about the candy bars and the radiators, and I'm thinking I'm the officer sitting here listening to a guy that said they accused me of stealing candy bars.
Yeah.
So I went and stole all the radiators. I mean, think about that.
Yeah.
But that's what addiction. You just do crazy stuff.
do stupid
and you
stuff.
rationalize crazy stuff in your mind. And
Yeah.
then when you get clarity and you say it, it's hard to even say it out loud because it's
It
like,
is.
my God.
It's
you
like,
know?
what in the world did I do that for? You know what I mean? And
So when I called,
forget your
I
candy
called
bars,
Teddy
I'll
and
show you.
asked him
Yeah.
to come, and he was like, "Should I, do this?" He was like, "Do I need to be nervous?" The truth is, what you know is we're uncovering some things that are not real wise
Yeah.
about what addiction does.
And if we got time, I can tell you another just a little bit.
We're going to. We're
Okay.
going to end this on. This is the before. When we move on, we're going to be in the middle, and then we're going to be in the after. So, Ivy, tell them how to look us up and whatever all that stuff you say.
Yeah, as y'all know the drill, here's the deal. There is no deal except good deals at Hair and Tire. Sorry, I had
Yes,
to throw that in there.
throw it in there.
But anyways, make sure to give us a thumbs up on Facebook, on our YouTube page. Give us a share if you got something good out of it. Give us a 5-star review. 4 stars go in the garbage. Who cares? Don't need them.
And I'll say this: if there were no Hair and Tire, there would be no S&N Studio. There would be no Big Circle. There would not be any of the things that we have, and we appreciate y'all's efforts because y'all help make this possible. You don't say that. People don't know that, but that's the truth.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Made me cry.
We love you, Ivy.
We gotta go.
We love
We'll
you.
see you on the next episode. I'm Ivy Heron Jr.
I'm Derrick Followell.
I'm Teddy Sharp.
This is a big circle.